Hello everyone, this is my current setup. I haven't been very active on my page lately. I've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of messages and whatnot. But I'm looking to get more active. I've just been very busy working. I pulled that actual case all the way up to the right so that if you see the cables, that's actually not how it normally is. I did this for display purposes. My actual computer itself, I built it myself. Got a 2600K at 4.5 gigahertz. It's only 1.37 volts. It's a pretty easy job to overclock. I'll be going into that more in detail at a later date. The motherboard's a Maximus 4 Extreme Z. Pretty self-explanatory. Public gamers. Ripjaws 1866 memory. 16 gigs of that, of course. Two 6970s, overclocked to 950 and a 1450. The OCZ Vertex III 120 gig is my primary boot up drive, so it's very fast. There are some things that I would like to review about that drive. It can be quite a pain in the butt to set up. It does have firmware issues. You do have to update it quite a bit to find the optimal setup for it. I did notice that there is a little more difficulty with that compared to, say, a Corsair or a Samsung 830. I also have 3 hard drives in there. Western Digital Black Caviar 650 gig, Samsung F3 1 terabyte, Seagate 2 terabyte, which is mainly for data. It's a slower one. I also have a really overrated, not overrated, just a very powerful power supply that's really unnecessary for the setup. It's a 1200 watt high current pro by Antec. It's an awesome power supply, so my comment of overrated was not the correct word to use. My first DVD is Asus Blu-ray 12 time. It's a pretty good Blu-ray player, pretty standard for the computer market. Sony 24 time reader writer. I just use that for everything else. I don't want to use Blu-ray necessarily too much unless I'm doing actual Blu-ray. Just to save the Blu-ray player, which is a little more pricey than $20 for the Sony. My cooling, this is where it comes in. Normally I build my own self-contained unit loop, but I built this about 7 months ago. So I didn't have a lot of time at that time. I was really working a lot. So I went with the H100. I figured I'd try it out. Corsair makes excellent products. And it really turned out great. I'm only getting about peak temps with Prime 95 of about 62, 63. With that current setup, so it really worked out great at 4.5. So it really is nice. And I'm playing Battlefield, maybe like 52 is a peak, 50. It's really nice. The case, of course, a lot of gamers know this, and that's probably why you're here. The 932 Advanced. It's a Coolermaster case, a half. It's really awesome. It's really one of the best cooling cases. Has a lot of fans. You might notice some little loud noise, but that's because I have just about every fan possible in there. Push-pull configuration for the H100. You know, I made it all aftermarket fans. I even have an R4 on the side. I have a lot of fans in there. And that gets me onto the fan control itself, the Sentry LX. There's been mixed reviews about that. Some people have issues, some people don't have issues. I haven't had any issues, so I can't really complain in that market. It's very nice looking. To be honest, you could have gotten a better product probably, but I just like the way it looked on the half more so than anything else. It really looks cool. That sets it apart. I'll go over that and I'll show it more in detail in a couple minutes. Now, onto the monitors. Everyone's always like, why would you need two 6970s? And this is why. And honestly, with Battlefield 3, I would like to have 3. ATI cards skill great. As you can tell, I spent a lot of money on this rig, and I probably could afford a 580s, and that's true. 580s are excellent cards, but for the value and the performance that was here, I really wanted the 6970. The scalability of 6970 was really good. So I went with two 6970s, and when you're playing at a res over 5,000, especially in a game like Battlefield, you might actually want 3 to have that perfectly fluid movement. I'm still getting, you know, I can still get a peak of about 60 frames with the 5,000 plus res, but I would really like to have 3. And from the results on, I believe it was Antec, maybe it was Hard OCP, but one of those review sites actually reviewed three 6950s, which are similar to 697, just a little less powerful. Three 6950s versus three 570s, and the three 6950s over about 2000 res were really annihilating it, because that third guard, for whatever reason, for the SLI 570 seemed like it was negative scaling. It was actually worse than 2. So that's where it actually starts tapering off once you see the difference with the third card, and that's what I want to move to. But since they released the 7970, that might change my plans. Now the keyboard itself is a Razer Blackwidow Ultimate. I've had mixed success with this keyboard. It's a very nice keyboard. However, there seem to be some quality issues that a lot of people know about from Razer. Like some of the keys get stuck down. Well, I popped them off. It's very easy because it's a mechanical keyboard. Just be very gentle with a credit card. I will have another YouTube exclusive on that. So how to actually take off the keys, what to look for. Because the actual keys themselves, some of them were actually semi-deformed in the bottom. They weren't cut properly. So one of the sides was actually digging into the keyboard, and that's what enabled it to get stuck down. So I actually had to grind it down 2 seconds with a credit card, and it was fine. But of course, you're paying about $120, so you would expect better quality. One keyboard that I would look into if you're very interested in a mechanical keyboard, that Corsair K90. Corsair makes excellent products. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but from what I've seen and what people have told me, they're very, very excellent keyboards. And I generally trust Corsair's products that have a very, very good reputation for high quality. Now the mouse, I have 2 mice. At the Gigabyte M8000X. Now a lot of people won't know that. They'll be like, what is that mouse? I will be going over that later also. That mouse itself is a very good shooter mouse. It might be out of stock in a lot of places. It didn't sell particularly well, and I guess there were some performance issues. I never had any. So, I mean, it's a very high DPI mouse. It's one of the highest ones at the time. I think it was like 6200 or 6000 it can go up to. It was excellent. It's excellent for Battlefield 3 and shooting games. Where it wasn't excellent was actually MMOs. So that leads me to my other mouse, which is the Naga. Everyone knows the Naga. This is my second Naga. My first one, the number 3 button, got stuck, which leads to, my Razer quality concerns. Razer, from what I can tell, they make quality products. They feel very good, but sometimes the buttons, I don't know, there's something wrong with the buttons. It's really strange. The Naga, of course, you kind of have to go with that MMO. There's really no other alternative at this time. Those buttons on the side, and it's really difficult to go from that to another mouse for MMOs. It's really hard. Now I have 3 headsets currently. I have a Gamescom 377, which is a budget one. I'll be reviewing that for people that are looking in that $20 range. I have a Logitech, I forget what, it's like about a $50. It's a little higher range than the Gamescom, but the best one I currently run, I've tried 840s, I've tried the 360 from Sennheiser, but I'm not an audiophile, so I don't really use my headset for that. So the current one that I use is SteelSeries Siberia V2. I might amp that in the future. It's sufficient for gaming. It's even sufficient for audio if you're not an audiophile. But I understand if you're an audiophile, you probably want to go more toward a set of headphones and a clip-on mic. You don't really want to go toward gaming sets. They're not meant for that. Now onto the rig. That's just giving you a little overview of the stuff itself. I'm going to be doing more reviews on each in particular item. And I think I actually might have missed the Viewsonic monitors. Well, these Viewsonic monitors are excellent. I love them. I like Viewsonic simply because if anything happens to these monitors, they pretty much very prompt. You speak to an American that's very fluent in English, nothing against people that aren't, but it makes the process a lot easier if you're American. So when I had an issue with one monitor. I normally build a lot of PCs for individuals, and I always give them Viewsonic monitors because their warranty service is awesome. I've never had to use it in about 100 plus builds with Viewsonic monitors. So this time, and it happened to me, of course, of all people, I actually had an issue with the monitor. So I called them right up that day, spoke to a nice, pleasant woman, California, and she gave me the UPS information. I shipped it out, and about a week later, I got a brand new one. No refurb job, no nothing. It actually died between the first 5 days, which is really bizarre for Viewsonic. because I've never had any issues. I've used them for years and years and years. And that also goes into why they're more expensive. I would certainly recommend Asus products. Some of the Acer ones actually aren't that bad either. Now I'm not going to condone them, but the Samsung, the Viewsonic, and the Asus are really excellent. There might be some I'm leaving out, but you get the idea. The Viewsonic, this one will cost you about $180. It's a very nice monitor, set of monitors, but it can be pricey. You could pick up a 24-inch Asus monitor for about 110 on sale sometimes, 120, a pretty good one. So yeah, you really got to check your prices and see where your budget's at. But if you want an LED 1080p and you want that awesome warranty, Viewsonic's gonna be the most, gonna give you the best probably RMA experience that you can buy. So I would suggest them if you really have the money to spare. So okay, now on to the case itself. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit up close what's going on. Also, I did have a couple reviews before, but I was using an extremely low definition camera. You guys were like, it's extremely loud, it's horrible. Well, let's face it, it was a Pentax, and it was an old one. And nothing against new Pentax because they've come a long way, but it was an old one. It wasn't that good. So I don't have the time set correctly right now, but that's just because I was tinkering with some of the BIOS settings and I unplugged it several times. So, but this is what it currently looks like. It's the Blu-ray. I guess it's an LG, sorry about that. Alright, card reader. That's a stock fan in there. That's the only one I did not change. So here's what it looks like from the side. I went with Xigmatek for the white. There really was no other white variant that I was going to go with. I did not set up the sensor in that right hand corner yet. I'm going to set that up. I've just been a little too busy. Here's the Coolermaster. You could put 4 actually here, 4 fans, if that's what you're going for. It will come down to a noise issue if that's what you're going for. But if you want that kind of performance, noise won't matter too much. Now here's the push-pull configuration. So I have 2 on the bottom that are red. I have 2 on top that are pulling out. So essentially, what you're getting is pulling in. This is pulling in. I have a fan right there on the bottom too, and that's pulling up. So you're getting this sort of job. So it's like it's going in, up, and out. Now a lot of people say you don't want hot air through there. Luckily the air isn't that hot that's coming through there. I have no heat issues whatsoever. As you can tell, I will post some of my temperature scores in a later video. They're very low, extremely low. Like even my graphics card, I can make it so if I put it even at like 55-60% fan, I'm getting like 50 Celsius in Battlefield. So it's a very, very good cooling case. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a little look in the back. Obviously there's a lot of peripherals back here. Keyboard, 3 monitors, XFX DP, mini DP, and that wonderful power supply down there. So this is the Razer keyboard. Most people know what this looks like. A very nice keyboard. I have had quality issues, so I will go more in depth on that in a later date. Naga, excellent for MMOs, and the Gigabyte Ghost. It's a very, very good mouse. I got it with the mouse pad. I think at the time it was on sale for $50. And this was probably over a year ago. Oh, and of course the HD live cam. That's a very good webcam. And of course, you know, Nexus Galaxy. Excellent phone. I'll be reviewing that in a later date. Now, let's open this bad boy up. See what you're looking at. Now, the only thing is that this fan right here is actually set up. So, I'm going to have to place it down for a second. So here's what you're looking at when you look inside. Okay. So generally the wires I could keep pretty nice. If you look up there in the corner, they're not too much going on. It's pretty well contained unit. The only wire that I did not like too much was this one right here. That's USB 3.0. So it's quite necessary. You don't want to, you know, skimp out on that one. The Antec High Current Pro. That's where my hard drives are, my SSD. There are my 2 graphics cards. And then I have that foot set all the way to max, which you just have a press button for the Corsair H100. But generally it's a pretty clean setup. It's not too excessive. Pretty dang good. So I will be doing more reviews more intensely for you. Let you know exactly how everything is at a later date. I will be making several more videos for you on the computer building aspect itself, and reviews of some components that I have, no matter how simple they may be, how complex they may be. I like to give a little bit of an input on building itself and overclocking, because people have many issues with overclocking or many questions. So thank you for your time. I'm going to be giving you more reviews, I promise that, so don't worry, they're coming. And have a good day, and everybody enjoy the Super Bowl.